I love music. You know, I think God used music to save my life, literally. And it wasn't happy-go-lucky Christian music. It was just good music that God used, you know. But I don't know, in that moment, I just love to kind of let that melody flow through me, kind of lift you up. It starts to feel kind of airy, you know what I mean? And what you were ministering, Adam, I felt like that's what the Lord is wanting to do, is just kind of lift up in the moment, you know? And the picture that I saw and what I was hearing is that we have anchors in our soul, right? So Jesus is the anchor for our soul, right? Your soul is that part that's in you where you think and your emotions abide. It's kind of hard to dissect all of that, but just where you deal with life, your mind and that soulish realm, we want to anchor that into Jesus. And it's an anchor that's not just hooked into him, it's a life source. It's more like an umbilical cord than it is a steel chain, right? In other words, it's a source of life that as we anchor into him, we're being nourished and fed by his Spirit. And you don't have to make that happen. He just does it. It's just how it works. His Spirit is in you, giving you life, giving you hope, giving you peace. How many of you need some hope? You know, I don't know if you've ever been hopeless, like bottom of the barrel, completely hopeless. I have at a certain point in my life. It's been a long time, but I know what it feels like. And I know when it kind of starts to creep in based on other situations. And I just pray that you take advantage of the worship ministry that these guys bring to us all the time, to just sit in it and let it minister to you. You know, and so what I saw is our soul is anchored in him. You know, when your mind is up here and it's like you're flailing around and you're not sure, you're dealing with life, or, you know, my mom said this, my grandmother said this, my mother-in-law did this, my father-in-law, my kids, my job, me, you know, whatever's happening out there, it's going through it in your mind, but it's like, no, settle down into here. Let that soul anchor into him. Draw on that peace. And that's where physical relaxation even comes into play. You know, you just relax your body, you relax your mind, and you allow the Spirit of God to actually minister to you, because he's alive and he's active and it's real. Can you feel it? I want to feel it. I want to feel refreshed and hopeful and not dark and heavy, especially when life happens, because it happens all the time. Life is happening every day and it's not easy, but there's hope. So I saw our soul anchored in him, but then I saw those other anchors that try to weigh our soul down, and I just saw us throwing that stuff overboard. You know, I think we were seeing the same picture. You just send it away. So just even in this moment, just think about that. Whatever's weighing you down, you don't have to figure out, first off, you don't have to tell God what to do. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to pray the magic formula or say the perfect prayer to get God to do something for you. That's the strength of this finished work perspective, is you've already been delivered. You've already been made righteous and holy in him. You've already been given a seat in his kingdom. It's available. And you live it out inwardly first, and then it affects the rest of your life, right? So you want to just connect with that peace. So whatever those anchors are, just see yourself for just a minute. Just let that stuff go. I just let it go. I'm not going to carry the weight. I can't change it. I don't. You know, some things you just never get over. You know what I mean? Sometimes things happen to you in your life and you don't get over it. But it doesn't have to have that gripping sense of fatalistic perspective in your mind and your heart. You know what I mean? Like, some things have happened to us and we're changed forever, and maybe not in a good way, but that doesn't mean that it defines you, and it doesn't mean that it has to dictate your future. It's just something that happened to you, and it's a reality. You don't like it. It's there. Sometimes it stings, but you're not going to let it fester within you and shape your now or your future. And the way that you do that is you put it off. You know, like we think we're trying to get God to come and do stuff for us. He already has. He's placed Christ in you. He's placed life in you. Let that life build and grow as you magnify him, and trust that the Spirit is just moving. So it's okay. You can release that stuff because it's not doing you, it's not serving you. You can let it go. A lot of times I think we have to hold on to it because we're being disingenuous to ourselves or dishonoring to another person. Like I'm just having these thoughts and I'm just seeing, we hold on to things. Sometimes we think for a good reason, but you don't have to. The fact that you can let it go and move on doesn't mean that you're forgetting about the person or you're forgetting about them or that what they did is okay or any of that stuff. You're just airing out your soul. You're just getting rid of that stuff. You're just casting out those weights and moving on. The memories are there. It happened, but it doesn't have to dictate how you live your life in the moment. Are you with me?